super captain penalty kick, which gave Nigeria all the 3 points. The odds, by the way, I must say, were against the Eagles before that match.
Exactly.
And somebody sitting close to me were part of the people that gave the Eagles no chance at all. But you know, miracle, you know, they tired Jesus. So, proud Nigerians, congratulations to the guys.
Well, I'm a proud Nigerian.
What says thou on this matter?
I'm a proud Nigerian.
I know.
And I'm happy, as every other Nigerian.
Before 6 p.m. yesterday, you were not.
That the Eagles won that match. But obviously, I don't think it's a win we should celebrate to higher levels.
Why not? Yeah.
I didn't watch that match yesterday because I was not optimistic about us actually clinching the victory yesterday.
And go what they do and go allow you delete all your draft. All the draft you have made, it was deleted.
But then I think the Eagles need to up their game, and 1-0 against the
host nation. Yeah.
Besides, the entire stadium, I mean, when the match started, I watched it. The entire stadium was, filled to the brim.
You need to see that roaring.
So,
when I saw the drug by the stadium yesterday, I felt, oh, my.
For them to win in such an environment, I mean, give it to them. But
no, it was a mega win.
It would have ended goalless yesterday.
It shouldn't, because the Eagles lost chances as well. And that's what they should be doing more, taking their chances.
Exactly, yeah. And I think they need to put in more effort because that performance yesterday, they still have one more game to go before we can seal it up for them leaving the group stage.
That is to determine who will lead the table. So as it stands this morning, the God that can make people to delete their draft, so you will give all the praise.
Hallelujah.
Amen. All right. So congratulations to the Eagles. Keep working. Trust Nigerians to support you when it's necessary. But if you dare do anyhow, you will collect and see anyhow. That's the way it is. With that, we go to the papers. Many things to really talk about. The dust, in a manner of speaking, hasn't yet settled with the explosion in Ibadan. Before the end of the day, we got to know that yesterday 3 more bodies were recovered, at least making it officially 6 people that were confirmed dead in that incident as well. Sad one. As it is, the governors of the South met yesterday as well, and there's the Dawn Commission. The Dawn Commission represents the Southwest and the South. They call themselves BRACED, B-R-A-C-E-D. So it's an acronym for Bayelsa, Rivers, I'm not sure what the A represents right now.
Akwa Ibom.
Yeah, thank you. Cross Rivers, Edo, and Delta. BRACED, their governors and representatives met yesterday towards improving their region. But then we get more of that. That will be after this break, and then we will come back from that and we head straight to the headlines. This is the Morning Spring TGIF edition. All right, to start with what is happening in the nation, we can start with The Nation newspaper for today. Federal government charges EVELYN with lying to obtain $6.2 million. With riders, ex-CBN's boss awarded multi-million naira contracts to family members. Hearing begins. Is that the charges against this man is being adjusted every time he goes to court. Maybe so many things to really question him for. With the rider saying ex-CBN boss awarded multi-million naira contract to family members. But the good thing is, he will have his day in court, and it shouldn't appear like he's being witch-hunted or he's being, harassed. Through the instrumentality of the court, everything should be done through the confines of our laws. If he has something to say, he should not be witch-hunted. Let him have his day's court and let the Constitution really take over. And just at the top of that, government offers 12 deep offshore oil blocks for sale. All right, so Evelyn, you might have to call your account officer. There are 12 deep offshore oil blocks for sale. Perhaps you are interested as well.
I'll look into that.
Oh, yeah. Swine Shatima pushes for investment. That's at the Davos in Switzerland, the World Economic Forum going on right there. And of course, you have the picture of some injured persons at the hospital. Some of the victims of the Ibadan explosion at Redeemer Hospital, Bodija, and J. Raphael Hospital and University College Hospital, popularly known as UCH in Ibadan yesterday. We pray for quick recovery for them. Moving on, Abiodun Sule, Obrewari Idris, no fate today. The Supreme Court to decide election appeals. And here, South governors unite for region's growth. Obaseki's braced chair, that's the chairman of the braced that we, read out to you the other time. Governor of Edo State. Ibadan explosions. 2 more bodies recovered. Security agents on trail of suspect. Reps plan full-scale probe. That is a top strip. Refund 75 billion naira COVID-19 cash. House panel tells ministry, please, they should. Actually, it's mandatory. They should, please. We need all the cash that we can get as a nation right now. If it's in private pocket, they should, please. It should be retrieved. 75 billion Nigerian naira. That's quite some money. APC rules out automatic ticket for Ayedatiwa. It will be level playing field. All right. The game is the game. And lastly, Eagle shock elephant. Adeleke deposes Ikirun, Ire, Igbajo monarchs. We'll look into that in the course of the program. Honors for Anyoku at 91. All right. That will be all from the front page of The Nation. Evelyn, here you go.
All right, we take it up with the Daily Independent newspaper for today. Let's see stories trending or that have made it to the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper. And reps ask ministry to refund 75 billion naira COVID-19 funds. Direct Health Ministry to return 10 billion naira for vaccine production. And more headlines. Police block kidnappers. Rescue man abducted in Abuja in Kaduna. So he was abducted in Abuja, but he was rescued in Kaduna. More stories. Army uncovers 14 illegal crude oil reservoirs in rivers. Supreme Court dismisses ADC's appeal against Gombe governor. An Atiku Lord's court verdict voiding NBC's power to fine broadcasters. Away from that, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken to visit Nigeria, Angola, others, and infractions on wholesome practices detected in NIN enrollment. This is according to the NIMC DG. FEMI, if you are abreast of what's happening currently in the country, people are being asked to come relink their NIN and all of that. People that have even done it before, they go to the different centers to actually get it relinked, and people are actually complaining because they have to go through all of that stress.
It's uncomfortable.
Again, queuing. Someone, I was listening to a report yesterday done by one of our reporters, Stubby Sanusi, and someone actually in that report said he got there as early as 6 a.m. and still he didn't get a number. Not that he didn't get a number for him to
even
be
shortlisted.
Exactly. So he had to go back home with his wife. So why must Nigerians have to go through all of that stress? This is the age of technology.
Yeah.
Why do we have to go through all of that? So why can't we do that in the comfort of our rooms?
Yeah, I mean,
you can go on your phone, go to a website or something.
Almost all the smartphones now have biometric features.
Exactly. So why do we need to
it's not rocket science,
make our citizens suffer before they get things done?
And these are people that have done it before. Some of them have even used it before, because I have I had an octogenarian called me yesterday to say, you know what, where can we do in a town far off, and say, maybe I need to, this will, you know, she's speaking, say, maybe I need to come to Shogbo as the capital. Maybe it's more authentic done there, because she wanted to travel. She got to the embassy, and the NIN situation messed it up. Application charge, everything, more than 250,000 naira wasted, just because it got to the point of the NIN, and there were some discrepancies in the, maybe the surname first, in middle. Now, you know, for that kind of application, everything has to be right. Yeah. And this is what she has done before. She has even used it in some situations before. She had to come back home.
I know the NIMC, they are trying their best to get everything done right, but not at the detriment, not at the sufferings of Nigerians. I think they need to get their acts together and bring up a measure, something that will make everything go on, you know, smoothly, without any issues.
These things doesn't have to come with troubles every time. And let's state it as well, that most vendors, you know, there are vendors doing these things. They should please take caution and do things with the fear of God. Some of them, if not most of them, are exploiting the people. All kind of charges, outrageous ones, just because, you know, and you know Nigerians, for who we are, sometimes it's until you need that thing that you don't have any choice again, that's when you come forward.
All right, we'll move ahead. Still on Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Soludo pays exam fees for Onitsha correctional inmates. The story is on page 27. And of course, we have the picture of the South governors, all that, you know, for that particular meeting called the Braced Commission. Let's move on to the top corner of Daily Independent newspaper for today. 4 years after returns, FAN headquarters to Lagos. NCCA, NEMA may return too. Stakeholders express divergent views. FEMI, this definitely will generate a lot of controversy. We saw what happened when some quarters or some departments in the CBN was transferred to Lagos. People reading political meanings, reading tribal meanings to it. And, you know, FAN headquarters moving to Lagos, NCAA headquarters, NEMA headquarters moving to Lagos. People are definitely going to talk. But our fingers are crossed as to what this will bring forward in the coming weeks.
But many persons said FAN headquarters used to be in Lagos before it was moved under Buhari, and now the thing is being returned. But, you know, the man at the end of affairs is from Lagos. Now, when some of these things have been brought back to Lagos, you expect people to just add 1 and 2, but then it is what it is.
All right, the last and final wall on Daily Independent newspaper. FG rearranged EVELYN on amended 20 counts fraud charges today. That will be all for Daily Independent.
All right, straight to Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is next. Impact of fair subsidy removal tough on Nigerians. It's like saying the obvious, yeah. That's coming from the president. A couple of riders, I'll take them quickly. He says parents, guardians, students experiencing discomfort insist future is bright. Subsidy removal, naira scarcity, others heightening panic and hardship. Catholic bishops kick against blessing of homosexual same-sex marriages. Now, expedite action to cushion effect of your hard economic decisions. Sharia Council tells Tinubu, ask President to tackle insecurity headlong. And you have members of the Braced Commission there, Braced Commission meeting. Ibadan explosion in that picture, I mean. Now, moving on, Ibadan explosion, the police declare owners of building wanted. An Abia policeman who invaded TV station to face orderly room trial. PPRO, you need to see that video, Evelyn, if actually you haven't. Somebody was on a live television, interview, an online TV, and the police bombarded the place, disrupted the thing, even while he was still live. The man was still even doing his own live video. They were still there having a fourth and back. I mean, persons were saying
the seriousness of some officers.
Exactly.
You want to arrest this person, not like it's a criminal or hardened criminal. Allow him finish whatever he's doing.
What happens to just hanging around
and just
discreetly?
Do your job.
He comes out of the place and you apprehend him. It's that easy. Does he have to? But you have said it. Overzealousness. The urge to be seen working.
We're not in a military
How
environment.
come?
This is a democracy.
It's not a coup, for God's sake.
Exactly.
They disrupted the whole place, having back and forth. And then persons are wondering, who trained these people? Just because you want to show that you're working, something you could just hang in there, and the guy will not even know that you're around. Immediately he's coming out of the room. You do your work. Him. Very easy. Now, policemen who invaded in Abia State TV station to face order room trial, PPRO. They have a lot of explanations to do, by the way. Plateau Post. Another angle is this. Maybe they are just being thrown under the bus because somebody authorized. If you see that video, the person who led that particular raid was saying, this guy is here. What should we do? Should we get him arrested? So he got the order from something. I mean, from somewhere, from somebody. And you know, when the outrage is now there, especially if you're a junior officer, you get to be thrown under the bus. All the best to them there. Plateau Post, discussion ongoing over appeal court judgment. Governor Muftuang. Shetima attacked African leaders on continent's global GDP. That's at the Davos right now. Right? And Mr. and Miss, before I come to Mr. and Mrs. Top Strip, we won't allow CBN print money, says Budget Minister. This was the same thing that Godwin Obaseki said a few years ago under Buhari, and he was vilified. He was called so many names. He was called an opposition, a person, a rabble-rouser. But, you know, everything is becoming clearer now. But the Budget Minister is saying we won't allow CBN print money. Additional's book, Your 8-Year Rule Was Biased, Unjust, Nepotic. Clark tells Buhari, trust Edwin Clark to always say his mind. Afghan cracker, Super Eagles Peck Elephants. All right, that's a good one there. Brighton qualification chances. And Mr. and Mrs. now saying from, yes, most of the time it's Mrs. that talks firstly. And then Mr. responds, from the look of things, your friend's wife is sorry for her actions. She really cried her eyes out. And Mr. responds, my friend said, as an experienced zookeeper, I'm sorry. My friend said, as an experienced zookeeper, nobody can deceive him with crocodile tears.
Now that is hilarious. That's some humor there.
I tell you, that's from Mr. and Mrs. Angu, and that will be all from Vanguard newspaper.
All right, let's get to the Punch newspaper, our final newspaper under review for today. Public outrage grows as kidnapping epidemic worsens. 12 down for a varsity student. Official, 19 Abuja victims, 4 Akwa Ibom coppers among captives. Tinubu urged to tackle insecurity, food crisis at all costs. Bandits attack 10 Kaduna villages. This insecurity issue, talk about kidnapping, isn't abating, and we hope the government and those concerned, talk about leadership, can actually get to work and nip this in the bud. Away from that, IG presents 2 billion naira to families of deceased cops in Abuja. Supreme Court, Abiodun Adebayo learn fate today. The story is on page 14. And police to pay 50 million naira for arresting Abiola's widow in nightgown. Still, we'll talk about overzealousness of some police officers. And Ibadan explosion, deaths rise to 5. Soldiers occupy site. Okay, to the top strip now. Reps order ministries to return 85 billion naira COVID-19 funds. And all firms, Unity Bank leaders, market cap hits 50 trillion naira. FG plans over $3 trillion for energy transition. These are stories that have made it to the front page of the Punch newspaper for today.
Yeah, that's right, and that's where we'll pause a bit When we come back from this break, we'll talk about the decision of the Osun State government. You know, some white papers were released yesterday, and it addressed a whole lot of things. We'll be speaking to some of these issues, especially as our traditional institutions are concerned. It will be a very interesting one. Please don't go nowhere. Morning Spring will continue very shortly.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean War had all the nuances of an external conflict induced by powers that were interested in subjugating North and South Korea. Japan had leveraged on its military power to annex Korea in 1900 and imposed a military union that did not sit well with the citizens. Japan not only lost its war of conquest against Korea, all its powers were obliterated by the effect of the World War II. The end of World War II got Korea divided into two nations along 38th parallel lines by the instrumentality of the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. The Korean War lapsed into a Cold War when it stopped the prying eyes of external forces into the internal affairs of a nation now divided along its north and southern territories. Western Spring Television identifies the Korean War as a major event in history.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as the break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened will have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as the break and recapped every hour for your update.
Fellow Nigerians, how to improve your welfare is of paramount importance to me.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring
and Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
Nigeria once had giraffes, rhinos, and cheetahs, but we have lost this iconic species. And we may lose our lions, elephants, and gorillas too. Be iconic and join me to protect our wildlife. Report wildlife crime and say no to illegal bushmeat, because poaching steals from us all.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adebayo.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola Premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history.
According to the words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions either knows everything or nothing. Watch me as I ask the questions you think no one wants to answer. Even questions it appears no one has got the guts to ask. My name is FEMI Adefina and I've got the gut. Let's ask the pertinent questions and watch as we get answers.
For Zimbabweans, the pangolin is more than an animal, it is part of our culture. They are fiercely protected by our people and, if found, are handed to our chiefs for release. Wildlife is our heritage and can be our future. Remember, poaching steals from us all.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. I fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Eva is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Born 16th September 1923, named Harry Lee Kwan, and known as Lee Kuan Yew, he was often addressed by his initials of LKY. Lee Kuan Yew was a barrister and the first Prime Minister of Singapore between 1959 and 1990. Educated at Raffles Institution from 1936 to 1940 and the Fitzwilliam House between 1947 and 1949, Lee Kuan Yew established a highly effective and anti-corrupt governance system that midwifed the transformation of Singapore into a high net worth income economy within a generation. He never hid his exception to Western mode democratic ideal, which he believed had not assisted developing nations to attain good government. Before his death on 23 March 2015, the People's Action Party, which he founded, had used his political influence to establish the United World College of Southeast Asia to expand his economic ideas among countries that constitute the Asian Tiger. Western Spring Television identifies Lee Kuan Yew as a major character in history.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what-ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
and your sports Amazon, Nengi Ernest.
On this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Let's talk sports. Let's speak the most universal language of the world.
Some people say animals don't laugh, but perhaps we don't give them a reason to. Our unique species of gorilla are only found in a small forest between Nigeria and Cameroon. With only 300 left in the wild, we cannot afford to lose even one. Traps and snares used in catching bushmeat often kills or injures gorillas too, driving them to extinction. And that, you agree, is no laughing matter. So say no to illegal bushmeat from endangered animals. Keep them wild and keep us safe.
It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Let's remind you that you can join us on our YouTube platform right now at Western Spring Television, and also on other social media platforms, X, Facebook, and Instagram. And the conversation this morning is about the decision of the State of the Living Spring, Osun State, when it released a white paper yesterday, white papers, I must say, addressing some issues, pending issues as well, and that is what we are looking at today. And it says that the Osun State government taking some part of that release that was made public by the Commissioner for Information, Bukola Alimi, said the Osun State government on Thursday nullified the selection of the RA of Ire, Oba Olukunle Ademola, and the Owa of Igbaja Oba Boyega Famodu. The government also declared the stool of the Akemo of Ikoro, Oba Yunusa Akadiri, vacant. The decisions are contained in white papers released on varying issues by the state government. In a statement signed by Oluwamokala Alimi, the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, reading further, it says the government also released the white papers on the contract MOU Agreement Review Committee on Solid Minerals, Solid Minerals Committee, Asset Inventory and Recovery Committee, Staff Audit, Appointment, Promotions, Review Committee, as well as White Paper on Education Summit. Just to, cap it here, because it's quite a lengthy one. The statement reads, in part, Osun State Government has today released 6 white papers and signed, investigated issues, rather, I'm trying to just be brief, raised by the executive orders issued by the Governor, His Excellency Adeleke, at the inception of the administration in November 2022, as well as white paper on education, addressing, yes, education, the report on Chieftaincy Title Matters, chaired by Honorable Bamiji, and then trying to see now the setting up of a task force for the recovery of government vehicles scattered away by officials of the Boyega Oyetola-led administration, among many other things. And we are being joined this morning by Special Assistant on Media to the Governor, Governor Adeleke, Honorable Bamiji, and he's here with us in the studio. Good to see you, sir, and Happy New Year.
Same from me. Thank you.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Honorable Oladele Bamiji, Senior Special Assistant Media to the Osun State Governor. Thank you once again, and virtually as well. And we are being joined this morning by Honorable Adebayo, Adeleke, former Osun State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. He joins us virtually. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Compliment.
Thank you, sir. Same to you. Good to have you here. And
same here.
Thank you very much. I'll be starting with Honorable Bamiji, and the matter is now a public discuss because the paper has been released. Oluoma Kolapo Alimi did that yesterday, and on a range of issues, by the way, different white papers addressing education, the traditional rules, the recovery of government vehicles purportedly carted away by the last administration, among many other things. So let me ask you, just give us a recap, because you are the one in government right now, before we then narrow it down to the traditional confirmation. Many persons will say, was this a result of due diligence? Honorable.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians. Once again, it's the first time here this year. Happy New Year, everyone.
That's right. Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah. You recall when His Excellency assumed office, November 2022, there were riots, there were uproars in some communities, which informed the decision to issue some executive orders to at least, as a matter of immediate intervention, restore normalcy and order in those communities. Like I used to say, I don't know what profits a single soul that wants to become an Oba, enjoying the whole horror of the palace alone without the support and love of the people of that community on whom such a person want to superintend over as their KBAC. So, as a government which has a primary role of protecting lives and properties of the citizens, those executive orders were issued. At least it brought about normalcy, like I said, into those communities. Everybody was able to go about its businesses. Yes, you said whether it was a product of diligence. Yes. In fact, some people have been on the neck of government to release the white papers, all this, but that is not an assignment you want to rush into, or you want to rush about. The government have to take its time to make sure that nobody will come out are feeling with haunted or, you know, or disenchanted unduly. So due diligence have to be taken such that everybody involved were carried along. Those who have asked to agree with the processes of the selection of those cabiases were asked to come forward, and you know, other areas of the process looking into the law, especially, you know, each community has their selection processes. The rules guiding each of those communities in accordance with the law of the land. You know, so, and same thing on the issue of asset recovery. Those government properties carted away in the form of physical assets like vehicles and other government properties like that, you know, infantry have to be taken. You know, we have civil servants always on grant. You know, they assisted a lot, they assisted those communities a lot to get what do we have and what are missing. So, and it's not just something you complete just in a hurry like that. You don't want to, this government will not want to witch hunt anyone, and at the same time will not want to lose or expend unnecessarily on procurement or replacing these assets. When in actual fact, they are in the hands of some privileged few.
All right, Honorable, so that we get there very quickly, ranging issues here, but we have to narrow it down just to a few. Now, let's start with traditional institutions. It was said in that white paper that the government has nullified the selection process, of the area of Ire, Obolukmonle Ademola, and the Owo of Igbajo, Obagboyega Famodun. And the government also declared the stool of the Akirun of Ikirun, Obayunusa Kadire, vacant. Many persons will say, and I'm sure you've heard it as well, in fact, when the governor, His Excellency Ademola Adeleke, made that order, many persons said maybe it was a political move that, you know, possibly he has his candidate or just to get back at some people, many insinuations at different quarters. But now the big stick have been wielded officially through these white papers to say the nullification process, I mean, the selection process is what has been nullified. Many persons will say the process has been there for ages, and that is what has been done. How come the governor has seen, you know, through the different committees that are after this white paper to now nullify these things, and even an existing, you know, king, the stool of the Akirun of Ikirun has been declared vacant? The question is why?
The why is that due process of the law was not followed, at least according to different parties to those tools. And we all record, if we don't want to hide anything under our cheek, that some of the processes then were too hasty.
Hasty?
Yes. Yes, we are all Yoruba people, and we know that ownership, especially this very day, is not something that is that easy. There are some communities in this state or outside of this state that they have had their stool, their traditional stool vacant for close to 2-3 years. It's not, those stools are not that easy to come by.
And some others do, and some others get it right as quickly as possible as well.
Yes. If it was hasty but followed the due process, there's no problem. There's no problem. But when you have situations that are capable, essentially capable of disrupting the peace of the land, just because somebody was made an Oba, then no government will sit back and say and enjoy such a situation and just move on as if nothing has happened. Yes, we all recall what happened prior to the assumption of office of Governor Adeleke, when houses were being set ablaze, especially in Ikiru, we were also on the fight of collapse of peace in Adebayo. Same thing with EVELYN. So the government issued executive order, like I said, to restore immediate order, and then set up committees to look into what happened.
All right.
So, and perhaps the committee found that due process, if you look at that release, it was not the big stick as you mentioned it. As you mentioned it, maybe if it was big sticker at all, that is a big stick of the law. It's not as if the governor would still not want to be a Kabiyesi in Adebayo or Akiru of Ikiru or Ari of EVELYN. What he said does he have there? So, but let's have an all-encompassing process.
Yeah.
Let's all parties be carried along, as it were, as enshrined in the laws concerning regarding those communities.
Wasn't that done before?
It wasn't. If it was, in fact, you cannot say those were just the 3 of us installed then. If there were others that followed due process, no problem. But if government had laid back and allowed what was done then hastily by the immediate past administration, if we had allowed it, only God knows how many souls we would have lost in Ikiru, in Adebayo, in EVELYN by now.
All right, good to know. It's at this point that I bring Honorable Adebayo Adeleke. It was the former Osun State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy matters. Sir, are you still with us?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you. I would like you to speak to this matter. The government has brought out the white papers. You are part of the immediate past administration. I guess. Are you still with us, sir?
Fortunate.
All right.
And laughable. The level at which we are now in Osun State. It is very difficult to turn lie to truth. And you can see that my brother there, I salute his courage because he can come out to come and defend what I see as an absurdity and highly laughable. Let me say this. I want to start from the issue of properties. Have captured away some properties. They have been on this for 14 months. I think the executive order was made on the 25th of November 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And it now took them 14 months either to know or to see. Because that time when they gave the executive order, I remember I was on it and I asked them, let us see the list of those properties carted away. Let us see the list of those officials of government that carted away properties. See today, and as I speak, there's no list. Now that they said they have released the white paper, I want to put it to the special advisor there that he should mention just 2 or 3 of those officials that carted away these properties and those properties carted away. It is all lies, and we are on it. They should come out boldly, send the list out. Let us know what was taken. That is on the issue of asset recovery committee. On that of ownership, I can see now that Governor Adeleke and the people in his cabinet do not have a little understanding of the social, legal, and traditional ethics of ownership. They do not know. Look at what my brother is saying there. He said, because some people are agreed, go and study the issue of ownership. If you have 100 owners made, hardly can you see 2-3 places where people will not either go to court or complain about either the process or the person that is enthroned. Ownership is like governorship. they want to get to their father's throne. There's need for them to agitate. The duty of the court and the government is to look at the merits of the case, not to base it on politics. Look at, I want to put it to him that the Oba, our Baba, the Tinyofede, it has a case in court today, and he's been ruling, he's been on throne. Our Baba, the Ataojo of Osogbo, his case is still in court. As a matter of fact, when Ataojo of Osogbo was installed by the PDP government of Governor Oyetola, Governor OHIOLEI, there were little crisis. But the governor did not go into it and say you are deposed. They are still in court today. They don't have the understanding. And there are lots of confusion in this so-called white paper. If white paper is about justice, I describe this one as a black paper. There is no justice in it at all. Mere vendetta. And it is really, really laughable. I'll pick that of Akino of Ikiro. They went through selections. Akino of Ikiro's case is in the court of appeal. Is Governor Adeleke a judge? Do we change his name from Governor Adeleke to Justice Adeleke? How can you say a case that is already in the court of appeal, you say you declare the seat vacant? What are we talking about? You are making a mockery of the rule of law. You are making a mockery of democracy. You are allowing the people out there that are not from Osun to even condemn Osun State as a state. Now, what kind of a governor have you given us? The case is in court and you know it. And you are saying you declare the seat vacant. How will that your so-called white paper stand? I want to, at the same time, the Alabere of Abere, we installed Alabere of Abere. The case is in court. Why are you not applying what you did to Akino to Alabere? Because Abere is an offshoot of Ede. Now Alabere, the case is in court, but you allow Alabere to continue as the cabinet of Abere. But the problem that we have in Ikino and Ibadan is because of your supposed belief that those people have sympathy for APC as a party. Alabere of Abere, you need to explain to us why Alabere should be feared. The case of Ire, you said you nullified the selection process and you advised the people to go and withdraw. To go and withdraw a government as if you are in a ballot, you are settling disputes. This is governance. All right. You advise them to go and withdraw and at the same time start a new process because you want to create crisis in that community, because you want to bring in your own person that you think will control that community to be in support of your party.
Honorable Adeleke, please permit me to vote in here. You know, according to that white paper, so that statement released by Honorable Kolapo Alime, who is the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, it said due process was not followed in the selection of these obas. And of course, we've also had...
There is nothing like due process not followed. Let them explain to us what they mean by due process.
Honorable Adeleke,
let me say this.
All right.
There is nothing like due process not followed. The same due process we followed in Alabere, the same due process we follow in all other obas, the same due process we use in Ikinu, the same in Ibadan. But obviously you can see that Chieftaincy of Ibadan was a former chairman of our party. That was his crime, no other crime.
But let me narrow down on that Igbajo, ownership. Residents and community residents in that particular community have said that the ruling house from which Oba Famodu comes from isn't supposed to be the ruling house from which they should pick the Oba. In fact, they said the Belaru ruling house where Oba Famodu came from was not the rightful family to produce a new king out of all the ruling houses in Igbajo?
That will always be the position of any candidate in any ruling house that is agreed. And that is to be determined by a competent court of jurisdiction. It is very complex. It is not what a governor can just sit down and say, my people, let us see to this, whether due process is followed or not. No. It is a matter of law. It is only the court that interprets it. Whether it's your name, because we have what they call declaration. That is what they followed. The declaration says it is this ruling house. If the ruling house fails to do the needful, the law says move to the next ruling house. But you have to follow their process to do it. In the case of Ikiru, there was a judgment that nullified the ruling house that's supposed to produce a candidate. A judgment of competent jurisdiction. And that is what our government followed. Because we have respect for rule of law. In the case of Ire, the case is about Muwagib in Ire, and High Court has given them December 14th to give judgment. The case has been argued. Final written address has been adopted by the Honorable Justice. If not for Justice strike, the case would have been determined. But you now said they should go and withdraw. A case that only awaits pronouncement by the justice of the court. Does that not amount to arrest of judgment? Probably because they know that they will fail. Why can't they wait for that judgment to be made?
All right.
Justice Adeleke cannot change his name from governor to a judge. It is wrong. The only thing they will be saying is they did not follow due process. Who are they to determine who followed due process, who does not? That is the job of the court. It is not theirs to determine that.
All right, Honorable, because
in Ede, as I said, the petition was that the process was not followed.
All right, Honorable.
The governor, they did not say, I am going to be the judge. The case is in court.
All right, so that we...
In Osoko, the chieftain, this is very clear.
All right, Honorable.
This is very clear.
Thank you. Let me quickly butt in here before I come to Honorable Bamiji to respond to your submission. How you have spoken about the RH tool, spoken about the Owa of Igbajo. The government declared the stool of the Akiru of Ikirun, Oba Yunusa Akadiri vacant as well. How will you react to that as well?
Like I said, it is laughable. It cannot stand the test of this legal battle. It is a disgrace. It is a slap on the face of the judiciary. Case in court and full of contradictions. Case in court in Awo. Case in court in Alabini. But because those ones are yours, the Court of Appeal nullified the process that produced Alawo of Awo. But the so-called Yeye Dupe and her husband went to Awo and they got to Yeye Sobaloju or Baba Sobaloju of Awo. Is that not laughable?
All right, Honorable. You have mentioned individuals here, and I must remind you that you should be able to substantiate when you make allegations against individuals. But
that is the truth. It's not an allegation.
All right, we'll come back to you.
It's in the public.
All right.
It's not an allegation.
All right, so let me come to
that the case of Awo,
yes.
There was a judgment from the Court of Appeal, and even after judgment, those in government, the governor de facto of Osun, the year to went so to court, and people gone there recently to take the title.
All right, please hold on.
It is not an allegation.
Please hold on.
It's a statement of fact.
Yes, we'll come back to you. Honorable Bamiji, Honorable Adebayo Adeleke was a former commissioner and the person in charge at that time under the previous administration. He's saying it's like a we versus them thing. There are some of that in this same premise in which this white paper was released, notifications of the process, and in the case of Akirun, the stool has been declared vacant, that these same premises are there for other kings. You didn't take the same step That is it because you think those ones are APC inclined? That's why you are winch hunting them. You mentioned the case of Alabere and others. Even they referred Babatimi of whether that there are cases, plethora of cases. How come you are not having issues with those?
Well, it's the one, the Honorable Commissioner is the one delving into the arena of politics. I don't know anything about that. As far as I'm concerned, we will not, maybe that is what they did when they were there. Don't forget I mentioned earlier that these three Obas were not the only one installed during the administration. So it could not be right to say that Alabere fall in the category of those ones who are hastily installed. You know, perhaps because he has delved into the arena of politics now, perhaps because they didn't see the defeat they suffered in the 2022 governorship election coming. Because that was not the only error they made in a hurry. Just because they knew there was nothing they could do, they must leave. And now they wanted to just do so many things, including appointment in government, this and that, including this installation of others.
You think that was the case? So
we don't have anything to
Honorable, you think that was the case?
That was the case. That's why there are some processes you don't rush. No matter whether they are PDP, they are APC, these people are princes in their communities. That's why I said the governor does not have any interest at all. If in the end the due process of the law is followed, and now later emerge when all parties involved are carried along. Look at the Bajo case you mentioned. You don't just unpick a prince from a royal family. In fact, in ruling houses, there are still segments of clans within that royal family. There will be interest here and there. Yoruba will call it digi. You know, there will be some interest here and there. You don't just wake up and say, oh, Famonoya, go and become the king, just because it's a prince in that community. If in the end, like I mentioned, if at the end of the day, the due process is followed, everybody is carried along, yes, and the same Famono and others emerge, no problem.
But Honorable Bamiji, you know, this matters, they are in court, and according to the statement released yesterday by Honorable Kolapo Alimi, he said that the governor has promised to ensure due process, in-depth consultation and compliance with the rule of law. If these cases are in court, why not allow the court to have the final say? Since these princes have become obas, why does the governor have to sack them when the matters are still in court?
Don't forget, not all there will always be issues like you mentioned. But those we are told, those in context of our discussion this morning, fell into the categories of those who are, in fact, that of Adebayo was even laughable. Maybe
how so?
Within 1 or 2 days, he has become Kabiesi. That is not the process here in this part of the world.
What is the due process?
Yes, all interested parties we have to be carried along in line with the clear declaration that must have been gazetted, not just now, in the past. In line with the declaration of such communities. It's not just because I like this person's face and he's a prince, he's a non-prince in that community, and I handpick the person. In the declaration, there might be the fact that his lineage will not even be the normal person, the normal lineage to be taken at that particular time. Not just because he's talking politics now.
He's supposed to be a PDP person.
Because he's talking politics now. If his lineage is not within the range of the person that must be considered, that should be considered for that seat, you don't just use power anyhow. We don't. I mentioned again. His Excellency has nothing to do.
It was an abuse of power.
Abuse
on the part of the previous administration.
Abuse of powers.
But you heard what Prince Adeleke said, that if the ruling house that is considered the right ruling house to produce an Oba fails to actually bring forth their candidates, then move on to the next ruling house.
I don't want to discuss that.
Process
by the time the whole process is retaken, is redone, then you have to be part of it. You can, at least it's in the public domain now. You can be part of the process when they start all over again.
Okay.
And I maintain if Prince Famodu emerges again in the process, no problem. If in Ire, the same people emerge again, no problem. But let there be peace in those ruling houses.
All right.
You don't just segregate. You don't just.
Thank you, Honorable.
Yeah.
Honorable Adeleke, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you heard him.
Let me quickly say this.
Yes.
Let me quickly say this. Like I said, the Governor Adeleke-led administration does not have the understanding of what due process and the rule of law is. My brother there just said process is about the people of the community, let everybody know. It does not concern everybody in the community.
Who mentioned everybody?
The apologetic makers, the ruling houses, and probably some other stakeholders. Due process is about the law that establishes ownership. What you're supposed to do after the death of a king, the number of days that you have to live before you start a new process. After the completion of the final right of the death package, you will write letter to, you will consider the declaration as a grant. You send letter to the expected family that is produce from before will be taken to their budget. The kingmakers will consider and make their choice. In the case the kingmakers fail to do that, there's a provision in the law that allows the company to take another step. That is due process. What is he saying here? What is he telling us?
So, Honorable,
they don't have the understanding of it.
Are you saying all these processes were followed before these
they were followed? It is court of law that can interpret. This process was duly followed.
He mentioned specifically.
It is just because they want their PDP candidate. That's why they released this kangaroo white paper.
Honorable Adeleke.
Who doesn't understand?
Yes.
But the point is not
if I'm about him, Honorable, please.
This is just the beginning. We are not going to allow that to go.
Yes,
all right.
And let me say this.
Okay.
When the governor released the so-called white paper, it was because of the three of us, the Ari, Akiru, and our of the Bajo, that they included other cabinets. And you can see that other cabinets, even though they fall into the same category as the other three, they have exonerated them stylishly. He has not answered the question, and I want you to ask him again. Why will your government go ahead to do anything when you know that those cases were in court? He must answer that question.
Yeah,
why will you go ahead? And number two, why will you do what you, why are you not doing what you did in Alabere to the case of Akron? Because in Alabere you said the case
Honorable.
Alabere was not
in the Kiru, you said the case is the court, but you declared the case.
Alabere was not a product of afterthought of the defeat.
It was, my brother, you don't understand.
Alabere did not fall in the category of those you recently installed.
Selection of Akron was not almost a year.
Honorable Commissioner, if you are the one who advised the former governor, that's why you have
hold on. So that
I was the commissioner.
If this is the part, if Adeleke happens to be the one that was advising Governor Boyega Oyetola, that's why that government had problem. You see, people don't believe that.
You don't understand.
People don't believe that because we are in government, you can just do anything. For us, we don't have anything to do with politics.
Don't think about it.
Gentlemen, so that we have a conversation. Yes.
You don't even know when Alabere was.
Honorable Adeleke,
I was thinking about does not fall in the category of the
so that we have a conversation here. Honorable Bamiji, at least you can hear me. Please hold on. So that we have a conversation here.
Yes, thank you.
We have like 3-4 minutes to go on this matter. And Honorable Adebayo Adeleke, are you still with me, please?
Yes, I'm with you.
Now, Honorable Bamiji said something now. We'll still come back to him and said, especially in the case of Principal Modu in Igbajo, it was too hastily done. That was just done in a few days. That's number one. Number two, you made mention of something now. You said, we are not going to allow this. Who are the we that will not allow this?
Maybe it's the...
Please hold on.
Wow.
I am talking, when I say we are not going to allow this, I am talking as a prince of Ire. Okay. I am talking of that of Ire. Okay. I am a prince. I ruling house is Laroye, and the ruling houses will not allow this to go. They are going to fight a legal battle.
All right.
It's going to be a legal battle.
All right.
Then number two, I am still saying this, moderator, I'm saying this.
Yes.
Let him answer that question. Why will you go ahead to do anything when you knew that the case was off?
All right.
Let him tell us.
Honorable Bamiji, I take that as your parting shot. We have to leave.
Brother, I am sorry, I will not blame you.
Please hold on. Honorable Adebayo, let him answer the question.
We don't tell
Mr. Adebayo.
Akiru selection was done almost a year.
Mr. Adebayo, calm down now. You are not the one anchoring this program.
Please hold on, gentlemen. Please hold on, gentlemen.
You are not the one anchoring this program, for God's sake.
Gentlemen, thank you. Honorable, that is a delay in network, so at least you can hear me. Please hold on. Honorable Adebayo, that's
how they do their things. They don't even know their program.
Honorable Adebayo, please.
They don't know when to keep quiet.
Please hold on, sir, so that I can answer this question.
The uncle is asking you to take your peace.
Please hold on, sir.
To keep your peace.
Honorable Bamiji, please hold on. Please hold on.
You are a prince now. You have to leave your
please hold on.
You are a prince.
Please hold on. Please don't let's go personal.
Yeah, please don't let's go personal. Honorable Adebayo, please hold on, so that I can answer these questions in a minute. We take a advice. Yeah, please.
Which question?
The rule of law. Why
the one is asking me is not.
Why? No. That question. Why did you sack these others when the matter is still in court? If the governor actually wants rule of law,
there will always be issues in court. Some of these cases were instituted maybe immediately after the government took the steps in terms of the executive orders and all that.
But what happens when these these ruling families that went to court, refuses to withdraw their cases?
Yes, we'll see how it goes. He said it's from a ruling house. It cannot be. He cannot say that all the ruling houses in Ire are in tandem and in agreement with what they did in Ire. He cannot sufficiently tell us that what they did in Ikiru was right. You don't. Everybody that is a party that is a legal party to that
leave that to the court
should be carried along. You know, this is their style. You just want to do everything and ask people to go to court. That's even in elections. Right. That is what they do. Right. You want to rig election. You want to subvert the will of the people.
Your governor is a product.
There is a duty for government to understand.
Your governor is a product of the court.
Thank you. Gentlemen, Honorable.
If you have any issue, you also should go to court.
Thank you, Honorable.
We meet there.
Please, Honorable.
Mr.
Adebayo Adeleke, former Osun State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters. I want to thank you for your time, but trust us that when the time is much longer than this, we'd like to have you back. Thank you for your take this morning, sir.
Thank you, and thank you, the special advisor to the governor. I appreciate that. We will meet physically on a program like this.
All right.
I'll be glad to have you to hug you one of these days.
Thank you very much. Oladele Bamiji, Senior Special Assistant Media to Osun State Governor. Thank you for your time and take.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
And what we do on this program is to have conversations about the betterment of our society. That's what we do here. And of course, so that we have a better and a working society that we are proud of. This angle, this leg of this conversation for this morning, and just like the gentlemen has promised themselves, we would like to have you in person so that we do these things as gentlemen that we have. We take this break right now, and very shortly we head to Cote d'Ivoire, where the Eagles soared yesterday. Please stay with us.
wild, wild west. And Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white suprematists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history.
Welcome back. It's still the conversation on Morning Spring, and in the next 5 minutes we are going to be talking sports. Yesterday, the Eagles made the country proud with a 1-0 win against the host, Cote d'Ivoire, the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. And to help us get a better view, larger view of what happened in Cote d'Ivoire yesterday, we are joined by our very own Joseph Atewe. Good morning to you, Joseph.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you doing, and how is Abidjan today?
Well, we are still in the celebration mode, but you have to celebrate with sense here. Know how to carry the flag and know what to say in public.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, hello?
Why is that? Why do you have to, be careful on how you celebrate?
We are talking about the city or community where you have 9 to 10, 11, 12 million Ivorians, and the Nigerians are probably, say, 100,000. Even those who have lived here were confused on who to support. So many of them are kept behind the Ivorians, and not that they're hostile, but sometimes you have to apply sense based on what we saw at the stadium. When Nigeria got that goal, you can see some of the fans already throwing bottled water, cans of drinks, Now imagine you go on the streets and celebrate. So we folded our flags, put into our bags. When we go home to the hotel rooms, then we started celebrating.
Okay.
Interesting, maybe the atmosphere got hostile at some point is understood. But quickly, how many persons never saw that coming yesterday, that we could pull a win out of the host country, knowing that they are not just a host, they are a very strong side. But 1-0 it ended. How significant was that win, and what would be your assessment of the performance?
Well, of course, in as much Nigerians say I feel that performance was a little bit shaky. You must give it to the Nigerian boys. You recall that 2 days before the game, we were with these players at their hotel. They call it the media party. And some of the questions that were posted to these players by journalists would be how they were going to perform against Ivory Coast, knowing fully well they're the host. They're the host rather. And Umar Bali, most especially, that's the man that was in between the sticks for the Super Eagles yesterday, stated categorically that they were going to win. And we asked how. They said, don't worry, take it back to Nigeria, they were going to win. So one thing I saw from the Nigerians, even though they had a shaky performance yesterday, was determination. They really wanted to win. And kudos to my own man of the match, Olaino, and not Victor Osimhen. That man was rock solid in the defense. And, you know, it was part of the guys who told us at the hotel that, see, we're going to win, and we have to make this count. And talk about the performance, they can do better. But I think Nigerians should still enjoy this one, because it's been a long time we've seen the Nigerian national team make it count when it mattered the most.
All right, so tell us, what is the camp of the Super Eagles like with this particular win? Are they really proud of their performance? Is their coach proud of their performance? And also, I'd also like you to tell us, with the 2 matches we have played, how far do you see Super Eagles go in this tournament?
All right, so let me start with the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So when a game ends, as journalists, there are 2 parts you can visit. There's the press conference, there's the mix zone. So what's the difference? The press conference, you have the coach and the player, you know, come and speak to journalists. But the mix zone, you stand as a board separated, so you have players of all the 2 teams, the Ivorians, all the Nigerians, you know, pass there. And since we've been covering this thing, the African Cup of Nations, and this is starting from Cameroon, and we noticed that after games, you just see players move. No matter even if they win, they just move. It takes the grace of God before some stop to speak to you. But yet today, even the Ose personnel was dancing. The players were excited. So, you know, it sent a message that that win has just, you know, uplifted the soul or the spirit of this guy, and expect them to do better against Guinea-Bissau. So the mood in camp right now is still celebration mood. As a matter of fact, it has never happened before. We've been invited again. So it's going to be back-to-back in 1 week to the hotel by the players, saying they want to see the journalists. So it just explains how excited these players and the coaches are at the moment. And you spoke about the 2 games. Can Nigeria win the African Cup of Nations? As I said, if they play the same way they did yesterday, and the coach, you know, makes the right selection, I've not seen anything spectacular in any other team, honestly. Maybe Senegal, the defending champions, who have started well. Right. If you look at the other countries, they've nothing special. The Egyptians, check them. If we play the same way we did yesterday, and, you know, the coach makes some right selection, then, of course, we can. But if we don't, maybe a quarterfinal place will be enough.
All right, Joseph Otewe, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Spring for today. And ensure to enjoy your stay in Côte d'Ivoire and celebrate with moderation.
Joseph? Yeah.
Thank you. Femi.
Yeah. All right. That victory is sweet, as they say, by the way. Victory, and when things go rightly, everybody wants to associate. But failure is an orphan, by the way. I mean, we not fail. We hope the best, and we pray for them to keep soaring. Now, they have a gain more to go at the group stage. That's with Guinea-Bissau, you know, and we hope they will do well. And these will be the size of the program Morning Spring today, where we look in critical matters and trending issues. By the way, thank you for sticking with us all week. This program will make a return by God's grace next week, Monday, 7 a.m. is the time. Please do well to have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television, and of course on our social media platforms as well, at Instagram, Facebook, and X. You have the address scrolling on your screen there. Femi Ojo is my name. In everything you do today and this weekend, please be helpful to somebody. God bless Nigeria. Evelyn.
My name is EVELYN. OHIOLEI. Stick around for Spring Trend. We have interesting stories for you this morning. We'll be right back.
We all want to do our best to win for our team. But right now, we're losing to the illegal trade in wildlife. Illegal bushmeat is on sale in our cities, risking extinction and our health. We've become a centre for ivory and pangolin smuggling, and many of our iconic species are threatened with extinction. So please report wildlife crime and say no to illegal bushmeat. And let's work together to win for Nigeria. Keep them wild, keep us safe.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for